Hey folks, Crazy Larry back at Larry's Rod Shop with our part 5 of our multi-part series on our Crown Vic build for asphalt racing beginner class. Okay, so in our last episode we said that we were going to get into the technical part. And boy, have we ever got into the technical part of this. Okay, so we went out and got the drawn over mandrel tubing that I showed you before. And buddy, it's no joke. It really doesn't like to be bent well. And but there's a lot of guys out on the worldwide interweb on YouTube. And if you're already watching me, so you're watching YouTube. So look those guys up and see what they're doing with this homeowner style bender. Okay, there's a lot of little tips and tricks that they're doing, and I'm just going to kind of show you some right now. Okay, so there's our tubing, and it's 1 3/4 inches, but it's tubing. It's OD. It's outside diameter, right? And regular 1 1/4 inch pipe is roughly the same size, but it's not exact. And so what we had to do is we had to kind of profile this bender shoe in order to get a decent fit for our tubing. Okay. Also, thanks to Charlie Boyd 65, who came up with this. He showed us this bridle assembly, and what that does, it keeps the tubing sitting down in the shoe while you're bending this. Okay, so that helped, because what happens is the tubing wants to jump up out of the shoe, and that little bridle assembly keeps that down inside. We also filled this with sand, and that helped quite a bit. Otherwise, you're going to get things like this. It's really unavoidable. So what this tubing, I don't want to go into a whole lot of detail, but this tubing really wants to be bent around the shoe, not because of the shoe, if that makes sense. Okay, so this arrangement just kind of pushes up in the middle, and the tubing follows the shoe around, whereas a mandrel, like a pipe bender, say at a muffler shop, which that's a good idea. You can maybe take your stuff to a muffler shop, or if you have an electrician friend, the 1 1/4 inch pipe is similar in size and nature, so that you may be successful with that. Okay, so all right, enough on the tubing, enough on the bending. I really didn't want to relive some memories. I had to fill the whole tip jar, the whole square jar full of coins, trying to bend this stuff. But anyways, here we are. We kind of have our roll bar mocked up and in the car, and then we'll get to welding in our next episode. Let's see what we got here. So there's our hoop that goes behind the driver's seat, and it's supposed to attach to the frame down here. Now, when we opened that up, we opened up the actual skin of the floor, we realized that the frame it's only about 1 inch at the top. So this is some 3/16 plate, and we're going to weld the plate to the frame, and then we're going to weld the tube to the plate. Okay, and that plate has to have a little bit of bend to it to conform to the floor, and then we'll sew it all up and make a nice installation out of it. All right, we have what else have we got going on here? We got our front halo tube mocked up and in place with some welding wire. Okay, so then all we got to do is cope the ends of the tube, and rather than get what they call a tube notcher, we're just going to use this is a off-the-shelf Milwaukee hole saw. It's 1 3/4 inch OD. So this is going to work out perfectly as far as when we cope this. We're going to use Dad's drill press here, and just jig this up and cope this ourselves, all right? And that'll get us the profile we want when you go in tube to tube. Okay, you can't just flatten this out and weld it, and you can't just weld it like this and try and fill in the gap. It's not acceptable, and the guys at the track just won't accept that method of assembly. All right, so what else do I got to tell you? One other thing is we're trying to do this on a budget, right? So we bought a little TIG welder off of eBay, and it was only $160. I don't know how they can sell it for that. It's got a, get over here better. It's got a it's got a nice little torch. It's air cooled. We got some argon from our local gas supply house. The guy was really nice to us, and you got to buy a regulator, but $160. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And you're up and running. We've already tested it out. It welds pretty good. We also borrowed a welder from MIG welder, so we're going to be doing both. We're going to be doing MIG and TIG. There'll be no. I'm not going to proclaim to be any great welder, so I won't do any videos on that. But so next time you see us, okay, the main hoop is going to be welded in, and that halo hoop is going to be welded in, and we'll start to fabricate our down tubes and all of our cross bracing that goes to stiffen up this roll cage. Okay. Get out there and watch some racing. It's a blast. All these guys are doing it, and they're having fun, and we want to have fun too. So get out there and watch some racing. All right. Thanks. Bye.